Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Joy. How are you today?
Good. I'm glad to be here. This is exciting. I found some gold, and like I was saying earlier, we always get the question is, what can I do with my gold when I find it?
Yeah, especially when it's that small stuff, and you get a lot of more small stuff, right?
Yeah. And so your company is called minerskeepers.com.
Right.
And what is minerskeepers.com?
Actually, we are a manufacturer and supplier of items that can be used to make something like this out of your small gold.
That does add value to your gold because you're able to sell it at a higher value than spot
It
price.
becomes a piece of jewelry at that point.
Okay. So if a lot of you people, if you're out there and you've got your fine stuff and you're wondering how can I get a little bit more extra cash out of all the work I've been doing, well, here you go, Miners Keepers, and we're going to show you how to make a bezel. And so here's some of the gold that I found panning up in Northern California, and we'll go ahead and get to that. That's some small stuff. So how do you get that? How's the process? How do we start? How do we get that into a bezel?
Well, we'll start with that. But the other thing I'd like to add is that these are great gifts just for family members too. Even if you're not looking at it, you've got the granddaughter that's graduating from high school this year, or hey, Mom's Day,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Using it for your family gifts has been one of our.
So let's get started.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you bring that right into this little pan here, and we'll see if we can work with that way.
Okay, so I'm just going to dump it in here.
Always work over something.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to tap it in rather than pour it.
Okay, now that's what we have to work with. Now, if we are primarily mail orders, so if you were to be mail ordering this and you wanted to use for this particular one, we have lots of different sizes and choices to make, but this is what you would receive in a packet with our lockets.
Okay.
The bezel itself and then the lens that the gold will actually fit in. The lens, when you look at them, some people say, well, how do you put them together? And it's easy to see that they go together here. There's a little shoulder in there, and that fits directly into the channel of this bezel. So that's how it's held together.
What kind of screwdriver is that? It's a pretty tiny screwdriver.
Okay, this happens to be a jeweler's screwdriver, but the one that I recommend to most people is the one that, if you wear eyeglasses at all or sunglasses, the drugstore has the little one that you get for the little screws there. And
yeah, okay, so that'll be fine.
Right. Now, when you get these, the little lens have a dome, which is a concave part, which is what will hold the gold, and then you can either get it with two of those. If you have a little chunky or something, you can get it with double domes, or ordinarily they come with a dome and a flat piece.
Now I notice you're setting everything in a little tray there. That's a good idea, right? You should have a little tray.
Well, a tray or a piece of paper, a regular piece of paper works just fine.
Because you're dealing with little fine pieces of gold, and
Yeah.
as we all know, if you hit something, it could go flying. So have a nice, clean work area and a little tray to contain your gold.
And you can fill this. You want to fill it to where it's pretty level on this part of it. In fact, there's a nice big piece, but it's nice and flat, so it'll probably work. And you can kind of, if you tap that, Joe, you can kind of feel, just try it so you get the feel for it, that there's nothing sticking up much.
Okay, so it needs to be nice and flat.
Right, and that's...
So can you overfill them?
What happens if you overfill them is they won't close.
Okay.
So it makes it really easy.
If you run into that problem, what would you suggest? How would you extract some of the gold?
Again, you just look at that, and I use a pair of the forceps or tweezers, and
some fine pointed tweezers.
Right, yeah, and just go in and
take
pick
out as many flakes as it takes to make it so that you can be able to seal the bezel.
We've gotten the screw out of this, and that's the nice thing about these, because you can just pull them apart just enough that it gives you a little bit of room there to put these together. The next step, putting that flat piece on here.
You pinch both pieces together.
Right, yeah, and you can see where those two little ridges come together.
Is it sealed now at this point?
No, we do not suggest sealing ours, and especially a lot of times folks don't have enough the first time around to fill it, or they want to wait and add some more later. We like to fill them about 2/3 full, and that's about right for this one. And then it's ready to come here and put together. It doesn't matter really which side you bring together here, but you bring it down in, and it just
from underneath.
right. I'm bringing it in from that way, and it just fits right into that little channel that's inside this.
So that's how it seals it.
Right, and you can use a jeweler's cement or a watchmaker's cement to do that if you want.
To seal the bezel within the loop?
Well, the two pieces of the lens together. The thing is, don't use super glue or anything like that, because that will actually etch the centers.
Okay.
So use a regular watchmaker's cement.
Okay.
And that
But it's not necessary.
No, it's not necessary. And like I say, a lot of times the folks may not have as much gold as they would like.
So now you're picking up the screw with the tweezers, because otherwise to try to pick that up with your fingers
Yeah.
would be very difficult.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to use the fine pointed
Right,
tweezers.
yeah. I just find it a lot handier. And then just finding where that little notch is, just like any other little screwdriver, bringing it in, and there it is.
Okay, it's ready for a chain.
It's ready for a chain.
So what size chain do you recommend?
Well, we have 3 different sizes, the light, medium, and heavy. And again, depending on the size of the bezel that you've chosen, most of the time we use the medium.
Okay.
And we have 2 different lengths available. We have the 18-inch, which is the most common, and one that's fairly popular, but some people like 24-inch chains, so we have 2 different lengths.
Okay.
This one happens to be the 18-inch that we have, and it just slips right through there. Then we also have the gift boxes available on the price list that you would get if you asked for a brochure.
So any of you folks at home, if you're interested, she has the brochure, minerskeepers.com brochure, and the price list is there. There's all different prices on all the bezels and change depending on what sizes you would like.
And there you have it,
Wow.
all ready to go. And see, you could have done that, Joey.
Well, I'll give it a try anyway.
It works easy.
For your free Miners Keepers catalog and price list, contact Miners Keepers at 1-800-842-8655 or visit minerskeepers.com.